So, Mark, did you see the video of the scooters going down Las Vegas Boulevard just outside City Center? The scooter gangs are back.
You know, this is like my least favorite thing, besides kids on Fremont Street after midnight, but this is right up there. At least they weren't going down an escalator this time. I don't know why people rent these. Why are you on the street? The sidewalk is there. This is just stupid.
Come on, Mark. It has to be a lot of fun driving on the street with one of these.
Going like 3 miles an hour? No thanks. And you're going to get murdered with people driving crazy in Vegas? I don't know. Maybe they deserve it.
So let's start with Fontainebleau. They have a status match going on, and last year was a sort of gangbuster status match for a lot of people. We were able to match to Fontainebleau Gold, get our spa credits, get our dining credits, and that spa was super impressive, Mark. I really loved it. Unfortunately, they changed
things
a lot. The Fontainebleau status match has now changed, but it is back. So if you have not signed up before, or you're a new member, meaning you've signed up online but you haven't played, then you are eligible to do this. Anybody who's done it before, or if you've had any rated play at Fontainebleau, you are not eligible. And they changed it a little bit. I think they tightened it up a little bit. Like they got rid of Caesar's Diamond. Still opportunity for those who never took advantage.
Yeah, the shame is Hard Rock was the really good in. Like you could match easily to Hard Rock, and then Hard Rock went over to Fontainebleau. And I think it's still worthwhile if you want to do it. I mean, you get decent offers, even if you don't really gamble much once you get the status. They do some like BOGO type nights and things like that. So it might be worthwhile to check out. And when you get that dining credit, man, it gets you like a whole bagel.
And don't forget to go to the spa. That's all I got to say. Don't go. That show at the spa
definitely go to
is
2
incredible.
shows. Get dehydrated so you can't even enjoy your meal.
Yeah. Ruin it all. Just like me. So this next thing is funny because every time I've gone into the Caesars Palace parking garage for years and years and years now, I've noticed just how decrepit the area around the elevators are. Oftentimes elevators aren't working. They're out of order. I mean, this is just a very old, sort of nasty part of the building. And Bill Krakenberger was there recently and he filmed this, but this was like a whole new level. Like the handle was loose and going on. They had like tape saying push here for the buttons. And yeah, half the roof looked like it was caving in and flooded. And man, spend some money here.
Yeah, and then they have like that tarp. It just looks like the crappiest place ever. And this is the first thing people see going into your property, whether they're staying, like when they park to go stay there, check in, or if they're parking to come gamble. And you're charging a lot of money to park here. And that's the type of crap that you have out. It's inexcusable. It's terrible. Come on. How hard is it to fix a handle, clean it up some? Like what, $10,000 to do it on each floor? Come on.
And this is why when we talk about luxury hotels, top-end hotels, we cannot include Caesar's Palace in that, at least not consistently. They have some beautiful things. They've made some beautiful changes to their high limit. They really are trying to attract higher-end customers, and they have a lot of that nice restaurant stuff inside. But then you have this, and it's just very confusing. And for years, Caesars has all these different towers, and most of them are renovated and somewhat newer now, but you had towers that were just disasters of rooms compared to nicer rooms, and it's just always been that sort of thing. But like you said, I don't care what property. If this is Circus, they should fix this. It doesn't really matter. It's terrible.
It's got to be like the worst looking parking garage in Vegas.
Well, one of my favorite casinos in Vegas, including 2 beautiful parking garages that they have, Green Valley Ranch. I really love going there, spending time there. That's not new, but what is new is something I've never seen before, and I think John Mahaffey shared this, but a lot of people have never seen this before. On the felt for blackjack, they now have split odds depending on your bet. So if you bet $25 or more, then you're going to get 3-2. If you bet less than that on this table, you're going to get 6-5. Yeah, is this going to be the future where every table has this now?
I mean, it's probably better than most of the tables we see these days with so many 6-5s out there. At least you have the option. And I'm more shocked to see that there's a table for less than $25 a hand. I'm sure like on a Friday, Saturday night, you're forced into the 3-2 zone. It's surprising. I don't mind this. You know, if they're forcing most people to bet $25 a hand anyway, gives them a little bit better odds. And I'd rather have the option of this versus just a full on 6-5 table. And you're struggling, you know, to get value, and we've seen so many pits just become completely cluttered with them, and it takes a bit to find a 3-2 table. I don't hate it. I think it's interesting. I feel bad for the dealers. It's another thing for them to worry about and get written up on. I'm sure it's going to be annoying to figure this out. Maybe they'll get used to it after a while.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like it's fun to keep track of, but it does seem like a way for the casino to open up better odds when they have the lower limits, and then use this table for other stuff. So it's super interesting. We'll see if we have it spread anywhere else. Let us know if you've seen it anywhere else. So I've talked about primarily prime rib on the show before, and I'm not going to go into too much detail at the South Point, but I went there the other night on Valentine's Day. It's our kind of go-to. We really love going there, but we made an open table reservation, and what was neat is it put in there what are you celebrating, and we put our anniversary, because it is the anniversary of our first date was Valentine's Day. Anyway, when we get there, they had a card for us. They gave us free champagne, and you still get for $27.95, you get the prime rib, you get sides, you get the table side tossed salad, old school vibe in there. It just delivers on so many levels, and the whole card was just a nice little cherry on top.
Now, did you think it was better this time? If I remember right, the last time you thought it had slipped off a little bit.
Prime rib was perfect. Food was good. Service was good. We were there a little bit later, around like 10 o'clock, so it was not as busy as it might have been earlier in the night. They also had this prefix menu for $45 for Valentine's Day, which looked really great. We just did the prime rib, and the service was great. Yeah, everything good. The South Point was packed on Valentine's Day. I'll just say that. We were also at the Palms a little earlier in the night. It was packed too. So everybody was getting their Valentine's Day love. I guess that's a Vegas thing. Go to the casino on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's cool to see the off-strip properties be busy. And, Palms we haven't heard about much since they reopened. It just seems like nobody talks about it like they used to, but every time you have a report from there, it sounds like it's doing pretty good. So that's good.
Yeah, we had some time there. Jasmine played a little bit, so we'll see if we get any comps from that. But I didn't take a lot of video. I was just trying to enjoy my night. I did take some video of the Palms buffet at 4 o'clock right before it opened, and everybody was chomping at the bit to get in there. So the buffet lines persist, I guess. And staying on food, I think it was last year that Slots of Fun announced their expansion of their snacks, their good deals, including tacos, but I have never seen any mention of these tacos since. But now Vegas Willis just went there. He showed a picture. These are $2 each. Said that they were pretty good. Looked like they were maybe cooked in a slow cooker in the back. So there you go, $2 tacos. I'd probably still go to El Gordo down the street, but yeah, these will do in a pinch.
Yeah, I don't think like El Gordo's all that expensive. I'd probably give them a try and see how they are, just because. And I mean, you got to hang out and it's lots of fun. But I don't know what the picture was of that he took. I think it was of the restaurant, but it was just like, closed gates and then a black area. I don't know what that photo was for, but if that's where you like go order, that's really weird.
Yeah, they have the daiquiri bar there. They had the snack bar there. I think it's right in there, but I think it's sort of outside that area. But yeah, there's your tacos. Go get them. As a reminder, we have our Patreon, $5 a month, get you access to our weekly after show, behind the channel, all of our escapades, and the good, the bad, the ugly. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So I did want to do a quick follow-up on the last show where I talked about voucher machines giving change. And apparently it's happening at more casinos than I thought. What's really strange is some casinos people said that they've gotten change at. I definitely know I haven't. And maybe that's the case at Sam's Town, because we had been there before, but people saying all the Boyd properties are doing it. Again, I've been to some like the Orleans and not gotten that. Casino Royale, Westgate, MGM Grand Detroit, Mark, they said that you're getting coins back there. The Sahara, Palms, we were just there. We did not get change back the other night, but people said that they're doing it there. I wonder if some of the machines are giving change and some aren't.
Yeah, maybe they're only filling some, or they only have enough change for a couple. But that's kind of annoying unless you have like a sign on it saying, come here for change. I don't know. It just seems weird that you wouldn't either do it all or nothing.
And speaking of slots, Jacob just had a video highlighting the Wheel of Fortune area over at Oyo. It is all dedicated to Wheel of Fortune slots. I was just at Palms. They had a Buffalo area over there. Silverton, I've talked about on the show before. They have a Buffalo area and like a Dragon Cash area. In fact, it seems like Aristocrat, who makes those games, does a real good job of getting these themed areas, although Wheel of Fortune is IGT. Anyway, I would love to know what everybody's favorite themed zone. I think I mentioned this before, but back in the day at MGM Grand, this is like 30 years ago, they used to have the Family Feud slot machines back when Louis Anderson was the host. And I love that. They had this whole area that's now where the whiskey bar is that was all themed to that.
I know Wheel of Fortune's definitely one of my favorite slots, so it's cool to see this little area. I'm guessing, the way he explained it where it is, I think that was the old Hooters store, if I'm not mistaken. That's where they used to have, like, you could go buy the merch and all that stuff. So I have a special treat for you. We talked about chips and collecting them from closed casinos and everything. So the best casino in the history of Vegas still have some Hooters pants, Sean. Hooters Casino and Hotel.
There you go. It's worth a lot.
I don't think the wife fits into them anymore, but we still got them. I don't know if I should have said that.
So just a little behind the scenes, Mark made sure I put this back in just so he could show that. But they are
Yeah.
cool, and I did kind of put it aside because I love the themed areas. I'd love to know what your favorites are. I want them to bring back those OG Family Feud slots.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun. And I mean, anytime we can talk about the Oyo, it's a good day. So I'm glad we got it in there. It's such a fun little quirky property. It used to be better as Hooters, I think, when they had the center bar and the stores and all that stuff. But hey, it's still holding on.
So moving on to Town Square, and the future is here, Mark. We have seen robotic bartenders. That's not a new thing. I think there's the robotic bartenders at a Miracle Mile. They're on cruise ships. They're everywhere, right? But a robot barista, I'm sure we've seen that before, but it's coming to Las Vegas for the first time. And the name of the place is Cloufy. So they tried to like combine the word for like cloud computing and coffee, Cloufy. It's at Town Square. You can get your robot barista to make you a beverage now.
Cloufy sounds goofy, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will go in there just to check it out and see it happen and take their videos and everything. And I don't know, it seems like it's slower than a person, or at least a person that's somewhat motivated. I'm sure there's baristas out there that do everything slow, but most of them are pretty quick. And I don't know. I guess you don't have to tip, so you don't have to worry about that anymore, and nobody can complain about that.
What's interesting is they say that they still have to have other employees, so you still need a tip, Mark. That's not done yet.
Not if they don't make my drink.
But it sees a customer come up, it does converse with them. I don't know, I'll have to get over there and try this out. But it doesn't look like it really looks like the security robot just made in coffee form.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't like the drinks, it just looks like it pours from one cup to the next. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but I think it's still cool. And yeah, I mean, it's early on. This is kind of the first time we've seen it in the last couple of years, seen stuff like this. I'm sure they'll get a lot better over time. And then we'll have to worry about how many people are replaced at casinos and everything else. It's going to be, 10 years from now, it'll be interesting to see what it all looks like.
And this doesn't apply as much to coffee, but remember, robots never over pour. You never get that generous pour like you do with a regular bartender.
Yeah.
I guess probably not as big a deal with coffee. So I came across this video this week on X from this guy. He was at Main Street Station walking in with a beer from the outside and then sort of got kicked out. And what's funny is he went across the street to Cal, not knowing that it's owned by the same company, by Boyd Gaming. So he's just like, screw you, Main Street. I'm going to go gamble at Cal. He handled that well when everybody told him. But I was thinking about this. First off, is it wrong to bring in an outside drink to another casino, especially downtown where you're kind of doing that? And should they just let it? I think I've done this a bunch of times and never had anybody say anything.
Yeah, I've never had anybody say anything at all, especially on the strip. Like, you're just walking from one to the next. What are you trying to fight here? And the sad thing is, like he said, he had just a little bit left. Probably would have got another one in there. So I don't know what the force is. It's probably just one security guard that's, high and mighty, like we talk about all the time, and overstepped it. I doubt that that's like a mandate. Yeah, because how are you going to protect that? Like, there's so many people walking in from so many different entrances. I don't think that you can stop it. And Fremont Street is like made for that, for walking around with a drink. And I've walked into pretty much every casino around Fremont Street with a drink and never had anybody say anything. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're just driving people away. He'll probably never go back there again over something so stupid.
Yeah, security guards overstepping their bounds happens in Vegas all the time. It is funny how he just goes to the same company, a different casino from the same company, and it's all fine. But yeah, I don't know. Just chime in. I just wonder how often people are bringing drinks. Have you ever had this happen before? Again, I know I've done this a bunch, never thought much about it, never had any issues. I agree. It's probably just a one-off with a security guard who's liking to assert his power, man. They got to let you know who's in charge.
I mean, how many times have we gone into Main Street just to grab one of their craft beers and then we take it elsewhere? So they're okay with us leaving with it, and we can go into any other casino and they didn't say anything. It just seems that, it's definitely got to be one guy on a power trip.
So on the last show, we talked about MGM's earnings call, and Wynn also had their earnings call a few days ago. And we're not going to dive into the earnings. They're doing pretty good. Everything very good. In fact, they're doing better than a lot of the other operators in Las Vegas as far as the F1 stuff, the beginning of the year, their rates, but they've had similar issues with their margins, and especially their room rates around F1 were down. But specifically, they're just all in and excited about what's going on in Dubai, and they talk about that a lot. And also, we learned a little bit about the renovations that are going to happen to Encore Tower. It's going to take them about a year to do this, and they're going to do it 3 stories at a time. And the way they do that is they take a floor offline, then they take the one below it and above it so the guests can't hear the construction. Other companies should take note from that because, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and at MGM they just hammer right on your head. No, it was interesting to see that, and then they talked about Thailand a little bit. Which when I was out there earlier in the year, my buddy that lives in the area was saying that they're talking about bringing a casino to Bangkok and stuff, which I think would be wild. They said they haven't done anything with their land in Vegas because, if that opens up, they want to jump on that versus adding to Vegas. But I still hope they come back around to the lake. Let's do it. Jet skis, baby.
Yeah, from the earnings call, it just seems like they're so tired of this question. What are you going to do with that land across the street? Every earnings call, they have to answer this. And it's pretty clear at this point, Wynn has no plans to develop that land. It doesn't mean in 5 or 10 years they won't develop it. But Craig Billings says, we just absorbed new resorts into the market. We have new rooms coming online, things like that. So the market, he wants to see the maturity. We know there's some struggles here. And as you say, they really are pursuing Thailand heavily. The Emirates project is moving along. They bought that casino in London as well, which is going to fall under their Dubai sort of casino as well. So they're really focused on their international growth, making sure their margins are high in Macau, and even doing some renovations to Wynn Palace there as well. Yeah, Las Vegas ain't getting any love anytime soon. Sorry.
Yeah, the way they worded it, like they don't want to cannibalize what they have in Vegas. So I wonder if they would do something maybe more mid-tier. I know that goes kind of against all of what Wynn is, but it sounds like they're thinking of doing something that differentiates itself from the normal Wynn They don't want just like a second one. I don't think they could fill that many high-end rooms, on both sides of the road, similar size properties. So maybe they're looking at doing something completely different and unique. We'll have to see if people respond to it or not.
Yeah, we don't know, but he did say that they aren't looking to build Wynn Las Vegas 2.0 on that land. So whatever that means, very interesting. Gonna be years. All of the exciting Wynn stuff is gonna be happening overseas, and that's just the way it is. And let's close with this, the JW Marriott. I talked last week about my experience at the Rampart Casino. My wife hit a major. It was all fun. Ended up leaving up quite a bit. But the reason we were there is we stayed at the JW Marriott Hotel. The cash prices, like I said, were around $700 a night. And I did talk about this in much more detail on the MTM Travel podcast, but I did want to show everybody here the rooms. I used a Marriott cert, so I did not pay cash for this. I talked about the buffet, how I used my platinum status for that. But these rooms, very solid, very much in line with JW Marriott, modern, luxury Marriott rooms, very comfortable. And other than a little issue at check-in, it was a great experience, good service, everything else. So I definitely recommend this. And I think, it is a corporate luxury room, Mark. And maybe people out there don't know what that means. It just means it's similar to luxury rooms from Marriott that you would find elsewhere, but there is nothing wrong with that.
It's kind of like a Resorts World, Conrad, even though the Conrad at Resorts World's a little bit below what you would find at other Conrads, but that's what I'm envisioning, like similar type of stuff, you think?
I'd say that this measures up pretty well with any other JW Marriott. The bathroom is pretty cool because it does have a jetted tub, which I think is unique in Vegas. I know Mark doesn't care about tubs at all, but there you go. Everything else, very modern, very beautiful. The rooms were very dated before. They just renovated them, and comfortable. Bed is good, 560 square feet. And you have the resort with all the water around. The pool area is beautiful, but they have these streams and rivers, real grass, which is not something you see anymore. And you get this full resort that is detached from the casino. So you do get that sort of resort experience as well.
Now, there's a, $45 resort fee. Do you have to pay that even on an award stay or a free night cert stay?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do with Marriott. They stink.
Thanks.
So I did have to pay
Thanks,
that.
Marriott.
That was my only cost. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I had not spent a lot of time in the resort part of this property. I used to go there quite often, the Rampart Casino back in the day. Hadn't spent a lot of time there recently. So it was nice to kind of reconnect with that, but also to kind of discover just how big the resort is. I didn't realize it had as massive amount of grounds as it does with all the water and everything else. It's so peaceful out there.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never been out there. I definitely want to check it out.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Wynn, their future, what they might develop. Do you think it'll be some completely different concept? JW Marriott, have you stayed in that hotel? Do you like that? Robot barista, are you excited about that? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. There's so much stuff cut out of this one.
Not because of me.